Well, hey everyone, it's Wired Up Retro, episode number 82, and in today's episode I've got a special Atari 5200 controller adapter that's made by a Atari 5200 fan, Matthew Jenkins, called the Redemption 5200 controller adapter. He's making two versions of these. One will be for Genesis and Atari 2600 controllers to work on the Atari 5200, with those Genesis controllers having two-button capability on 5200 games, you know, like let's say Moon Patrol or Dreadnought Factor. So pretty cool that he's making that. And then there's a second version that he's just going to make on demand for a period of time, and that will be the Redemption 5200 adapter for Atari 7800 controllers. Now, I've never had a 5200 controller adapter that's specifically designed for Atari 7800 controllers to have both buttons in action on the 5200. So this is kind of a first for me personally. Kind of exciting stuff. So, you know, they got the ProLine 7800 controller, the coffin design, that's what they call it. Some people call it the pain line instead of the pro line because, you know, after you hold it like this for a while, it starts to hurt your hands. A lot of people have major issues with hand discomfort with it. I honestly didn't have a lot of hand discomfort playing with it when I was playing games on my 7800 in the earlier mid-90s, but it's not, yeah, it's definitely not my favorite controller. Now, Atari in Europe made a gamepad that was designed for the 7800 with two buttons on it, and this we call the Euro pad over here in the US. I figure maybe in Europe they call it that too, but the Euro pad is maybe a little bit extra cool. It's designed with a removable little joystick you can take on or off. You know, you could use it as a D-pad or as a thumbstick type controller. So anyway, it's pretty cool, and if any of you own that, this adapter should make it work well with the 5200. Now, Redemption adapters were originally made in the year 2003, or maybe it was '04, and they were distributed by Atari Age, and there were three versions, PC and Atari Sega, and then the 7800 version. So they were manufactured with Atari 5200 cartridge casings, with a cord dangling out from it. The cord that comes with mine is about 6 feet long, which I really appreciate, a nice long cord. So ultimately, this is a new project that is quite exciting. This is me on Wired Up Retro 16 talking about it. You can check that video out. The fact that it's, you know, a historical adapter and now a 20th anniversary of the Redemption adapters, and now they're coming out again, is pretty cool. So if you were thinking of getting one, I would definitely invite you to go ahead and grab one. Now, there's another controller I want to show you, and this one was put out by Best Electronics back probably in the early 2000s or maybe late 90s. This is called the Best Joystick, and it's got an auto fire with a on-off switch. It's also got buttons that are a little bit more, I guess you could say a little more tactile, because they have a little bit more throw or a press-in kind of feel to them. It's different, and the stick's also got a different feel to it, a smoother feeling. This is a little bit more stiff, and you know, you hit the directions. It's a tight feel. This isn't so tight. But yeah, it's a nice little controller. It's this model CX34 and no longer available on Best Electronics website, but maybe you could find one once in a while in a game store. I found this at a game show here in Columbus where a lot of people were selling things. Found it pretty cheap. Now these, you might wonder, okay, what are these controllers? This one is a single button controller for the Atari 2600, or you could say the Gemini, which was made by Coleco, which is a 2600 clone, okay, and the joystick will work, I believe, for 5200 games using the adapter here, but the paddle isn't going to work. This is not a paddle adapter, this is a joystick adapter. So in case you wondered, yeah, the paddle games aren't going to be utilized there. Now, this is a unique Epix 500XJ controller for the NES, and I actually, back in the mid-90s, had this converted to be used on a 7800 just for the fun of it. Got it done for probably 35 bucks or something like that. It works well on the 7800 with the two-button control. So I'm going to try this with the Redemption 5200 adapter. We'll see if that works. I also, back in the mid-90s, got an NES controller to be converted to the 7800, so we'll try this also with that. Now let me show you something here. On the bottom there's a placement for two controllers. So one, the 15-pin connector is for my 5200 controller so that I can use the keypad or the start, pause, and reset buttons. So I'll go ahead and plug that in right here. Okay, and then I will go ahead and take the Pro line and plug that 9-pin connector into the other port right here. Okay. Now, if you get all robots eradicated, you get a bonus. All right, looks like we're going to get out. So I got the bonus. It says 70. Okay. Beautiful. All right, so let's try a 2600 controller and see how that works on Berserk, because that's probably the controller most of you have gotten to enjoy. Okay, so I got the 2600 controller plugged in, and we are going to press the 5200 start button. This is the controller that, you know, everybody's used to playing Berserk with. Interesting. It's just pressing the stick that does this shooting. So the 2600 controller is not compatible. I thought it would be. I was pretty sure it was going to work. Wow. Okay. So yeah, it looks like maybe this is really exclusive to the 7800 controllers. Let's try another 2600 controller, the Gemini controller. And we'll see if we get any compatibility with that. I'm going to have to try a couple of these to see, you know, which ones work and which ones don't, or if they all are incompatible. It's kind of interesting. All right, here we go. Same thing, wow. Huh, okay. So yeah, 2600 controllers look like probably not compatible with this. You have to have a 2-button 7800 controller to get compatibility. So this Best Electronics joystick, from what I have seen, it works on the 7800 and also 2600. So we'll try this one, see what happens. Okay, so we got the Best Electronics joystick. Oh yeah, look at that. That is not working either. Yep, okay, so this is working like a 2600 controller. Okay, so I'm back. I did a little off-camera testing just to save us some time. I tried another 2600 joystick. This is the QuickShot 2 Plus. Gave me the same result, not working properly. I also tried a Master System gamepad, not working properly, same result. And I tried a Genesis controller, this made by Sega, and no luck with that. And then I also tried this Sega control stick. That's made for Master System. Again, didn't work. This actually has a 7800 controller top because I modded it. So anyways, yeah, so there is hope though when it comes to these. And even maybe the Master System gamepad. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute, so stay tuned. There is hope for these to work with this adapter, and I'm going to explain that in a minute. But let's go ahead and try the Epix 500XJ 7800 controller. It's actually an NES controller modded to work on the 7800. Through this adapter, I'm hopeful this is going to be working just fine. We'll find out here. Okay, we got him. Got him. Beautiful. Intruder alert, intruder alert. Get down there. Ah, all right. So it's working. All right, let's try the NES controller. Maybe we'll try a different game. Got it. Oh, the other one. All right, let's play a 2-button game with the, let's try Let's try my idea with the Sega Genesis controller. Okay, we got Defender plugged in, a 2-button game. We're going to give that a shot. And I've got my Sega Genesis controller, or gamepad, hooked up to a Aladdin Seagull 78 controller adapter. Now, for those of you who own 7800 controllers, most of you probably know about the Aladdin Seagull 78. It basically allows Sega Genesis Seagull to be able to be plugged into a 7800 for true 2-button compatibility. So you could use, I think, buttons B and C for buttons, left button, right button for the 7800 games that use 2 buttons. So I thought, well, this puts out a 7800 signal. Why not pump that into my Redemption adapter, and we'll see if we can get a 2-button game working and see if the Genesis controller actually works right. So we'll give it a shot. Here we go. Oh, good. And let's try the 2-button function here. There we go. Yeah, we got full capability here of the Genesis controller. So if you already own a Seagull 78 controller adapter, this essentially turns this into a Master Play clone. So now I'm wondering, okay, well, let's try those 2600 controllers. All right, let's give that a shot. Well, it is moving the right direction, but pushing the button makes him stop firing, and letting go makes him fire at every single time I press the stick. So I have an adapter called the Sega Rapid Fire Adapter. Let's do another attempt here on see if we can get this to work. Should be an interesting result, maybe. Okay. Now note, we're using a 2600 controller, so we're not going to get the smart bomb. No smart bombs. Oh, what's that? Hey, awesome. Cool. All right, let's go back to Berserk and just make sure that works. Okay, it's working. Woohoo! All right. And with this, you can press and hold the fire button and he'll keep firing. And that's because the rapid fire adapter is plugged in. Okay, here we go. Whoops. I'm a chicken. All right, I'm really glad to see that this worked out. So yeah, it takes 2 adapters to get this to work like a Master Play clone, but it does add compatibility. If you're already a 7800 fan and you've got the Seagull 78, and you don't mind getting a rapid fire adapter, you could probably get them for 30 bucks, 40 bucks at most. You'd be in luck. You'd have all sorts of compatibility with this, including obviously the 7800, which, you know, if you own that Euro pad, you might want to give it a shot. All right, so yeah, I want to try another 2-button game. Okay, so I got Beam Rider up on the screen, and I do know from experience that Master System controllers do not have compatibility directly with the Seagull 78 controller adapter. And obviously, if that's the case, you're going to have to put in between the controller and the Aladdin Seagull 78 a rapid fire adapter for the Sega Master System. Let's see how this goes. Get this rolling. To start the game, you have to push down. Okay, so that worked. And let's see how it goes. Good. All right. Fire buttons. Okay. Not consistent. Let's put it in the downwards trigger position. Oh. Yeah, now it's working. And they even do rapid fire. So yeah, you had to have this in a different position to get it to work. But it's working. So I'm guessing here all Master System controllers, if you have both adapters set up here like this, are going to be compatible. So that's kind of a nice thing to know. All right. Yeah. Yeah. So this is working great. Now let's see if once I take care of him, then I've got a alien craft coming my way. Button 2 works. All right. There you go. Well, it's been awesome playing with the Redemption 5200 adapter for the Atari 7800 controllers. If you like the Pro line or you like the EuroPad, go for it. Go ahead and contact Matthew and he'll get one started for you. So a lot of you out there might be more interested in the Genesis and /2600 controller adapter. That's the Redemption model. And so he's going to make probably more of those. So, but either way, I think you'll be having a lot of fun with your 5200 games. These are just digital games, by the way, not the analog games like Missile Command or Star Wars the arcade game. Those aren't going to be compatible with this adapter. These are specifically for the digital games, Dig Dug, you know, Beam Rider, etc. Some of the analog games can be played with these controllers. Let's say Centipede, you could still play that game. You'll just not get slow and fast movement, only fast. Same with Galaxian on the 5200, but it's still very playable. But yeah, Missile Command and Kaboom and Super Breakout, Star Wars the arcade game, not going to be real compatible with this. And there's only like 6 or 7 games on the 5200 that will be incompatible. The rest that were made in the 80s, about 62 of them are going to be compatible. And then, you know, maybe 7 won't. All right, hopefully that makes sense. So just keep that in mind. If you don't have a Seagull 78 by Atlatin, go ahead and grab yourself one if you're a 7800 fan. I definitely like that adapter. And if you can get your hands on a rapid fire adapter, there might be some good reasons to actually own one at this point. So yeah, I would definitely invite you to look on eBay for that one. All right, so a plethora of controllers compatible on the Atari 5200. This is probably the record for the different kinds of controllers that can be made compatible on the 5200 now that we have 7800 compatibility. Pretty cool. All right, you guys subscribe to my channel if you haven't. If you like the content, I've got an episode coming up that has to do with 80s gaming. I'm not going to give up too much on what it is about, but I will tell you this. It has its own screen. So I'll let you guys figure that out. I'll be coming out with that episode sometime soon. You guys have fun gaming out there and take care. Comment below if you have any controllers like this that you're like, I wonder if that would work. I can test it for you. All right. Take care, guys.